So hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Dream Interpretation Thursdays, where I interpret your guys' dreams that you send me every single week. Now in today's video, I'm actually going to be interpreting two dreams that Theresa sent me. And right before we get started, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing because I talk about everything that has to do about dreams. And like I said, I interpret dreams every single week, depending on if I do get dreams. And if you guys are considering sending me your dreams, feel free to send it to me in the comments down below. Or if you guys would like to have it more of an anonymous thing, and give me a different name to use, feel free to send it to me at my email, which is dreaminterpretation2020@gmail.com. Or you could also feel free to send it to me through my Instagram. And if you are going to send me your dreams, make sure to check that description down below because I have a checklist of what to include in your dream email. Well, let's get started with Theresa's dream. So Theresa said, "Hi, please help me interpret these dreams. I had a dream that my two ex-boyfriends, and I changed the names here to Tommy and Billy, were fighting each other, and Billy won. Then they actually went around fighting other men who have tried to get close to me. I dreamt that Tommy was I was in a room sitting on the bed, and he was standing by the door taking off his things, and he had his fingers getting ready to come towards me. I am not in a relationship with either of the men anymore, and the room was well lit, and I could see where I was." All right, so I'm actually going to stop it. That's the end of the dream. So right from the get-go, yeah, Holy Spirit did show me the first time I read this that this was a nightmare. As you guys have heard me mention this before in the channel, that I actually don't interpret nightmares since they are from the enemy. And so I won't be interpreting this nightmare. But what I will say is, and this is what Holy Spirit is actually showing me outside of the dream, so this is actually what Holy Spirit is showing me about Theresa and what's actually affecting her. Yeah, the reason she's getting these nightmares is actually because these two past boyfriends that she's had, they actually had several demonic spirits, right? And so the funny thing is that what Holy Soul, I say funny, but that's actually not a funny thing. But the curious thing, or the interesting thing is that both of these past boyfriends were very similar to each other. And the reason they were very similar to each other is because they had similar demonic spirits affecting them. And so what's happening here is that Holy Spirit is showing me about Theresa that these spirits are basically trying to get Theresa to feel attracted to men that are very similar to her exes. Right? And so the enemy's plan here is very clear. These demonic spirits are actually trying to prevent and sabotage Theresa from finding her husband. And so what I would actually recommend right from the get-go is that, yeah, you definitely need to get deliverance from all of those demonic spirits that you basically that have been affecting you, right? Especially with these exes. The other thing is that obviously, since they are exes, you definitely need to get prayer for soul ties as well, since you do have a connection with these exes that you've had. And like I said, these demonic spirits are trying to basically lead you in the same path that you were before, right? So they're basically trying to lead you to somebody else that has the same demonic spirits that were affecting your exes, so that, you know, the circle just continues. Yeah, and that's how the enemy works usually, right? He has no imagination, so he'll use the same plan, the same formula again and again. Now, the other thing is that you also mentioned in a vocal message, I didn't hear it right away, but I actually looked at it after. And you did mention that it seems like you are being, you mentioned that that it seems like you are being spiritually attacked, and you can't put your finger on what it is, but it almost feels like fear or anxiety. And so, yeah, you definitely need to look into that as well. Well, the thing is that when you go and get deliverance, yeah, these are the things that you want to basically bring a checklist of, right? You know, that you need to do soul ties, right? You need prayer for soul ties. You need to get these demonic spirits off of you, right? The same demonic spirits that were affecting your boyfriends that are now just basically trying to affect you, right, in your daily life. And the other thing that Holy Spirit actually showed me is that there's actually some generational spirits, right? Generational curses, that are affecting you, right? And so these are generational things that your ancestors, like 3 to 4 generations previous from you, that have done stuff, right? And so you basically need to get prayer to basically stand in the gap for your ancestors, so that those things that the sins that your ancestors did back from 3 to 4 generations ago doesn't affect you now today, right? Because that's the other thing that can happen is that the sins of your ancestors can come back and bite you, right? Just like it says in the word, right? That there's several things that sins in the word that specify that it can affect you to the 10th, right, generation, third or fourth generation. And so it's very important to get prayer for that, for generational curses. And so those are the things that I would recommend. Like I said, I'm not going to be giving you an interpretation of the nightmare, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter, right? Because nightmares are actually from the enemy, right? But this is what Holy Spirit has showed me about Theresa. And then after, Theresa did send me another dream where she said, I dreamt of my mother holding a newborn baby, and the place is dark, and I am not sure where or why my mom and the baby are. So where my mom and the baby are. I think that's what she meant. Yeah, and so that's just a very short nightmare. Again, that is a nightmare. The fact that you don't really remember exactly what happened, what was going on, what it's very blurry kind of thing. You didn't mention that, but usually that's the case with nightmares, right? You don't really know exactly what's happening. So yeah, that's just the enemy, right? And so yeah, there's no interpretation for that. But those are the recommendations I would give to you, right? Is definitely look for a church that has, or ask your local church, right, that you go to if they do deliverance. And if they don't, well, then look in your local area for any churches that do deliverance, because you definitely need to get prayer from these things, right, that are affecting these demonic spirits that are affecting you in your daily life. And I would actually do that as soon as possible, because like I mentioned, these demonic spirits, their plan at the end of the day is to try to sabotage you from finding your husband. Right. And so, the husband that God has called to the person that God has called to be your husband. And so, yeah, it's definitely, they're trying to sabotage you and, try to stop you from doing that, and actually try to get you in the same pickle, same problems that you had before with your exes. And so, yeah, but anyways, yeah, so for this week, I guess there wasn't really much of an interpretation. That's fine. But that's what Holy Spirit showed me about Theresa. And so I hope that this gives you insight on what you should do in this situation, Theresa. And just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you guys would like to send me your dreams, feel free to send it to me at my email, which is dreaminterpretation2020@gmail.com. Or feel free to, if you don't want it to be anonymous, then yeah, feel free to comment down below. And if you are going to send me your dreams, make sure to check the description down below, because I have a checklist of what to include in your dream email. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for watching my video, and God bless.